Hi, I'm Erin with Homeschool Connections, and today we're here with Dr. Michael Kurek. Michael is the instructor, the professor for the Meet the Maestros, Great Composers, and their Music course, which we're highlighting here today. Hi, how you doing today, Mike?
Hi, good to be here.
Good to have you. Just for the person coming and the first time they've met you and see you, tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you've done and your.
Sure. I'm a classical composer, and strangely, I'm not dead. Most so,
I love it.
but for many years I've been artist in residence and professor of music composition at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee.
Awesome.
But I'm also a faithful Catholic and a certified catechist of the Diocese of Nashville. And I've always wanted to be able, when I was teaching in this secular university, music, to talk about the the Lord and to pray before class and to talk about the spiritual nature of music, which
Awesome.
is so important.
Absolutely.
So, what attracted me to teach for Homeschool Connections was this opportunity to really teach in a holistic way, in an integrated way, as Cardinal John Henry Newman said in The Idea of a University, that the theology is really the hub of all disciplines and the intersection of them. And so I really do try to give a Catholic, a distinctively Catholic perspective on classical music, which I don't think you're going to find many places.
You're not. You're not. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And you actually bring just all of that background, at, not just as a professor of
Mhm.
music, but also as in it composing. You have how many pieces are out there being
Oh gosh.
performed? Like a bazillion, right?
Well, let's just say my music has been performed on 6 continents, and and it's being played, streamed, and listened to. I do have a website, just my name.com, michaelkurek.com, and you can hear music and see about my composing career. But as a professor, I've spent 30 years teaching in the university, and I just retired this past May. So I have a little bit more free time, and I thought it would be fun to do this. But I'm a little young to supposedly be retired, but I'm really I
Okay.
have I have so many commissions to write music that I need to start spending all my time doing that, and just a little bit teaching.
And that's
So this
phenomenal that we have you here to
Well,
teach.
thank you. It's
It's
phenomenal. It's been an honor for me to get to to be
It's
here.
great. It's great. Well, let's
Yeah,
get right to this course that
yeah.
you're teaching this fall. I know that so many of the courses are filling up and are closed here at Homeschool Connections for the live courses. And of course, you can get courses, including your past courses, on recording. But this course is a live course, and there are a few
Mm-hmm.
openings left. We want to make sure that people are aware when they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do? A lot of the courses are closed. This is a great course for a high school student to get in. So tell us
Yes.
about this course.
Well, okay. So if they're going to go to college and are interested in music, they might take a music appreciation course.
Right?
And the problem with the typical college music appreciation course is that they try to cover, they do a music history approach,
Right.
and they try to cover way too many composers and way too much music, and you end up not remembering any of it, and
And
or
I'm
very little of
laughing.
it.
I'm laughing. My first degree is in music, and
uh,
area,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like how
and
much of it
so
do you really remember?
so I'm thinking, every student comes away with a kind of from high school with a kind of canon of knowledge,
Yes,
certain great novels. You should have read
yes,
a novel by Charles Dickens and a
right,
Russian novel and so on,
right.
with some knowledge of art, certain famous painters.
Yeah,
And in music, if you could just have a handful of the really
yes,
important basic ones, and know a little bit of their music, but really know it and
yes,
understand their historical context and how they fit into, say, who was a composer that lived at the time of Jane Austen, if you're a Jane Austen fan, and or at the time of George Washington. And
Hmm.
so I make those historical connections and give them a context. And I've picked out 18 composers who are the really essential ones: Bach,
There
Beethoven,
you go.
Mozart, and that sort of thing.
Right.
And you get what you're going to get with each class is just a sort of a survey, a fun thing. I like somebody telling about the composer and his life and what what life was like, and what their life was like, maybe what their religion was, if I know it, and how it influenced their work. And then you're going to get a discussion of a couple of their compositions, their most famous compositions. So what you'll come away with is just a basic knowledge of classical music that you can take and as a skeleton and hang more detail on later. So it will be memorable, and you'll find pieces of music that you just love and you listen to the rest of your life.
So this
You
sounds
know,
like a course that has a lot of pieces and parts to it. You can label it. It can be history,
some
and
history, but
right,
not no attempt to be a comprehensive history. In
right.
fact, we shortchange some eras of music in favor
Yeah,
of others.
which
And
is, but
I've
it's
picked the
music.
most user-friendly music.
So
You
it's
know,
music, it's history, it's
yeah,
cultural literacy.
right,
A lot in there that gives that overview. If I'm hearing you correctly, the student can walk
yeah.
away making the connections.
Yeah, and there's just some fun things in there. Like I have a book of with bad reviews of
Oh,
great composers. So like
oh my
Beethoven's
goodness.
symphony was played, and the guy says this guy will never make it.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that sort of thing.
That's great.
And I have a PowerPoint slide for everything I do, and it's or a presentation, and I've got a few cartoons and things, and just some human
Fun.
interest things about the
Awesome.
composer. So it's I don't like to sell a course by saying it's a fun course, because that makes it sound like I'm pandering. But it's a
But
substantive
it's fun.
course, but it should, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been teaching all these years, and I know you have to make things interesting for
right.
people. I
Absolutely.
also spoke. I live in Nashville. We have a major symphony orchestra here, the
Yes.
Nashville Symphony, and for 8 years, I wrote the program notes and gave the pre-concert talks
Okay.
for the symphony. And so that was just your average people coming into a concert.
Hmm.
So you had to make it, kind of introduce the music in an
Accessible.
interesting way. And then I taught what we used to call a symphony cruise at our Catholic college here, Aquinas College. We had a priest who was very interested in getting the students out into the community. So he got a bus and took a busload to the symphony concerts.
Oh,
And I
fun.
would come to the campus and give a talk about the music they were going to play. And we had pizza and stuff, and then
Oh,
I'll get in
fun.
the bus and go to the concert. But I always gave a Catholic perspective on the
Love it.
music. So, because there's goodness, truth, and beauty, and I keep going back to those things.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I want to say is the word great. My colleagues at the secular university are teaching now the students that there is no greatness. It's all
Hmm.
subjective, and that an individual decides something is great, or like a Eurocentric culture decides it's great,
Right.
and then through cultural imperialism imposes that on everybody else.
Hmm.
They're complete relativists. They don't believe there's such a thing as intrinsic greatness in art. So I'm spending some time explaining why this is actually objectively great, and it
Great.
reflects God's creation and natural law. And they're going to be able to give a defense when they hear these kind of relativistic
Nice.
professors trying to indoctrinate them in college. Hopefully, you'll send them to a college that doesn't do that.
Yeah,
but
but this
you
is a
know what?
solid foundation then.
Yeah,
The defense.
yeah.
Awesome.
So, the what else did you want to ask me?
Well, last question. Who's
Yeah,
the perfect student? Who is this for? What is the age, the ability?
yeah,
Again, if a parent is saying, gosh, is this going to fit for my student? Who is that student? What's the,
yeah. Great question. It's for high school students, ideally, but maybe some parents or, later when it's recorded, anybody could enjoy it who wants to know about these composers. I don't dumb it down in any way. But if you have a student who, say, plays the violin since Suzuki violin at age 5 and has been in student orchestras their whole life, and they've gone to lots of orchestra concerts, they probably know all this and don't need to take this. This is designed for kids who maybe heard a little classical music and maybe have a favorite piece or two, but they don't have any kind of broad overview, and they don't know it. They don't really know much at all. It's for the beginner, and you don't have to read music. I'm not going to be putting scores on the page for people to read. It's strictly for the musical layman and the beginner.
All right, awesome. Although those who are Suzuki players would probably enjoy those reviews you were talking about.
Well, possibly, and yeah, they're going to learn something they don't know. But also, if you have a student who plays the flute or the trumpet, maybe they're in the school band or something, they're not going to have that orchestral literature, the classical literature so much, and they would be great candidates for this. And it's a stepping stone then to take a more detailed music history or music appreciation course in college.
Yes.
So that you don't go in there and just get completely overwhelmed.
Right, because those electives are necessary, and even in high school, having this as an elective rounds out that transcript so that when the entry, someone's looking at their entry into the college, their application, and they see this course, that's impressive. It's a really good addition to any high school students.
Well, it is, and I've worked on admissions committees to to admit students to college. So that kind of well-rounded thing is very helpful. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. So if anyone wants to email you about this course with questions, where would how would they get in touch with you?
Well, if you can't remember the email I will give you in a second, just go to michaelkurek.com and contact, and you can contact me through my website.
Awesome.
If you can remember my name. But my email is, and you're welcome to use it, is mickeykurek@aol.com. But do not call me Mickey. I just signed up for that because Michael was taken. Yeah. So, and I've regretted it ever since for the last 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
Dear Mickey, no.
All right. And if anyone has questions about the courses in general, you can always email homeschoolconnections@gmail.com or use the toll-free number that is on the website, and we can get you, those persons in the office are excellent. They can get you in touch with Michael as well. And check out the catalog that's right. We have a catalog listed on the website, on the homepage. Is this course in the catalog?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It should be. Awesome. Well, it should be. And I want to plug my book. This is my other course. This is from Ignatius Press, The Sound of Beauty, a composer on music in the spiritual life. It's too glossy to really show you. But if you look at Ignatius Press, that's a complimentary course that you can take through using Homeschool Connections, using that book as the textbook. And it's really a more spiritual approach, looking at how music, it's a theology of music and many other things.
And this is a one-semester course?
Yes.
So that they can take this course live with you in the fall, and then take that recorded course
in the spring. Absolutely. And I'm also working on a music theory course. But.
Awesome. So watch for that coming up. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, again, go ahead and message us. We're happy to help, and we hope to see you in Michael Kurek's course, Meet the Maestros, Great Composers and Their Music.
Thank you so much. I do hope to see everybody there.